Hello everyone. Welcome to the YouTube channel of Sri Swaminarayan Physiotherapy College, Ahmedabad. I am Stuti Shah and today we are going to learn about ICIDH2, International Classification of Function and Disability. Before we go further, I would like our viewers to like, share and subscribe our YouTube channel. In 1980s, ICIDH2 was published by WHO as a manual of classification relating to the consequence of disease. Later, modifications were made and ICIDH2 came into play, that was International Classification of Function and Disability, whereas ICIDH is International Classification of Impairments, Disabilities and Handicap. In 2001, ICF was introduced, and that is International Classification of Functioning, Disability and Health. Today we are going to focus on ICIDH2. So before that, what is ICIDH? ICIDH has three domains: impairment, disability and handicap. What is impairment? Impairment is loss or abnormality of physiological, psychological or anatomical structure or function. For example, if a person has lost a limb, then that would be a loss of anatomical structure. Supposedly, if a person's respiratory system is not functioning properly, then that would be considered to be a physiological abnormality of that function. Okay. Now, this loss or abnormality is at the level of body part or organ, and it does not include problems at the level of tissues or at intercellular levels. Impairments are not a pathology, but they are manifestations of the pathology. What is disability? Now, that is a restriction or lack of ability to perform an activity in the manner or within the range that would be considered normal for a human being. Then comes handicap. This is a disadvantage for a given individual resulting from an impairment or disability that limits or prevents the fulfillment of a role of that particular individual. So your ICIDH consisted of impairment, disability and handicap. Coming on to ICIDH2. It is a multi-purpose classification designed to serve various disciplines, and it uses a standardized common language permitting communication about health and healthcare across the entire world. It does not classify the people but describes the situation of each person within health or health related domains. In this, your disability term has been replaced with activity and the negative circumstances with your activity limitation. And similarly, handicap has been replaced with the term participation, and the negative part is termed as participation restriction. What are the aims of ICIDH? The first one is to provide a scientific basis for understanding and studying the functional states associated with health conditions. It establishes the common language for describing functional states. Then comes, it permits the comparison of data across countries, healthcare, services and time. And lastly, it provides systemic coding system for the health information systems. Your ICIDH2 consists of two parts, that is two domains: functioning and disability and contextual factors. The first one, your functioning and disability. It has two parts again: body structures and functions. Second part, activities and participation. The second domain of your ICIDH2, contextual factors. This again consists of two further: environmental factors and personal factors. So when you're looking over, you'll find that you have a health condition which is related to all other things. your body structure and function, your activity and activity limitation, participation and participation restriction, and contextual factors. So, your contextual factors can affect or influence your activities or activity limitations. Your body structure and function can influence the activity and activity limitation. Based on your activity, your participation and participation restriction will be also influenced. Coming on to functioning and disability, which had two parts: body structures and function, activities and participation. Now, what is body structure and function? Body structure means the anatomic parts of the body, such as your organs, limbs, and their components. And body functions are the physiological or the psychological functions of the body systems. For example, we are going to use our limb to move it. The moving of the limb is considered to be the function of that particular structure. Movement of eyes to see around would be considered to be the function of the body structure. That body structure is your eye. Activity. It is the nature and extent of functioning at the level of the person, or you can also term it as is the performance of a task or action by an individual. So, either you're eating, you're walking, or you're going for complex activities such as problem solving. All this is considered into your activity. What is activity limitation? It is the difficulty or impossibility of performing an activity by that individual. Now, these limitations can either be temporary or permanent. It can be reversible or irreversible, progressive or regressive. The next thing which comes is your participation. It is the nature and extent of a person's involvement in life situations in relation to the impairments, activities, health condition, and contextual factors. It is a result of complex relationship between health condition and the environment. An example of participation would be you would take into walking for going for a play or going to a school. You'll have to have an activity of walking. But when you're walking to go to a playground or you're going to go for work, that would be considered to be a participation. What is participation restriction? Problems an individual may experience in the involvement in life situations will be considered to be participation restriction. Coming on to your contextual factors. It had two parts: environmental factors and personal factors. What are environmental factors? These are your extrinsic factors. That means they are not in your body, they are outside. The example would be attitude of the society to that particular person who is having some sort of impairment, or architectural characteristics which may facilitate or it can hinder the functioning of that particular person who is having a impairment. Personal factors. Now, personal factors are related to an individual, such as age, gender, the social status of that person, and life experiences of that particular person. Your environmental factors can be divided into facilitators as well as your barriers. Now, what are facilitators? Presence of your facilitators will improve the functioning and reduce the disability of the person. This includes a physical environment that is accessible, availability of assistive technology, positive attitudes of the people towards the person who is having disability, services, systems and policies which aim at increasing the involvement of the people who are having a particular health condition. So, similarly, what can be your barriers? Your barriers, the presence of your barriers will limit the functioning and create disability. This include physical environment that is inaccessible, lack of assistive technology, negative attitudes of people to the person who are having disability, and services, systems or policies that are either non-existent or hinder the involvement of people with a health condition. Now, in this example, if you can see a person who is in wheelchair, the environmental factor which can act as a barrier are staircase. The staircase will hinder the person from going to that particular place, and that is going to increase his disability, or you can term it as it is going to increase the participation restriction of that person. Whereas if your environmental factor, if it is a facilitator, if you have provision of lifts in which a person who is on wheelchair can travel through it, then that will reduce the participation restriction. It will increase the participation of that person in life situations. And of course, the attitude of the society towards a person who are having these impairments should change. Coming on to an example. Supposingly a person is having cerebral palsy. The body structure which can be affected, okay, would be the very basic structure affected is your brain. The other structures which can be affected are your limbs. There can be some sort of contractions. Your activity limitations will be difficulty with walking. That can be because of the improper signals which are coming from the brain, or because of the particular contractures which have occurred over a period of time. Your difficulty in walking was your activity limitation, which leads to restriction into participation. The person will not be able to go for a place where they can go for education, or may not be able to live in a community life. Your environmental factors in your would consist of the barriers which may be there. So in this case, if there is a staircase, like if you have a school which is not having any sort of ramp, it is having a staircase, it will be going for a barrier in your environmental factor, which will again go for lead to participation restriction. Another example would be a person who is having a panic disorder. In this, the body structure function would be affected will be problems of emotional function, which can lead to activity limitation of difficulty in handling stress or other psychological demands, and that leads to a participation restriction in which there would be restricted social relationships. Now, over and above this, your contextual factors, your environmental factors, a negative attitude of a person towards such a person who is having panic disorder will further lead to participation restriction. I hope this has been an informative session. Please do not forget to like, share and subscribe our channel, and please press the bell icons for the latest notifications. Thank you.